The state claims that one of the Tulsie twins had planned to blow himself up in an Islamic State terror attack. Political parties hone in on Gauteng in a last-minute flurry to garner votes. It's Friday. Hello and welcome to it. You're watching eNews Direct. I'm Tulsie.
And I'm Sandy Legangmose. Good evening.
To comment on any of our stories, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct.
And tonight our hashtags are elections 2016 and Tulsie twins.
We start with this. The state says terror suspect Tony Lee Tulsie wanted to blow himself up in an Islamic State terror attack. It further alleges that Tony Lee and his twin Brandon Lee twice tried to fly to Syria to join the militant movement. At least one of the trips was allegedly funded by a member of Islamic State. But while prosecutors insist the case against the pair is strong, one of their witnesses now wants to retract his evidence.
The Hawks say this image shows Brandon Lee and Tony Lee Tulsie with what appears to be an automatic weapon, bomb belt and detonator. But the twins' sister is adamant that the image actually shows them with paintball equipment. The twins' mother cried as the image was revealed in court on Friday, with the state painting her sons as aspirant terrorists. According to the Hawks, foreign intelligence sources claim that Tony Lee Tulsie, using the codename Simba, had sought funding for a suicide bombing attack. He also allegedly asked about how to make a car bomb and last month inquired about supplies he would need to make an explosive device. The Hawks say raids on the twins' home showed that Brandon Lee had downloaded several manuals detailing how to launch a terrorist attack.
One of the state's witnesses in the case has, however, claimed that he was forced into giving evidence by police officers who threatened him and his family members with arrest if he did not cooperate. The National Prosecuting Authority, however, maintains that this man remains a witness.
We are continuing with the trial as planned as a state, and we are still relying on the information that he has given during his statement with the police.
The Tulsies maintain that they should never have been arrested.
Your clients have actually said on affidavit that they don't believe that there's actually a case against them or that there was a legal basis to arrest. Has that position changed?
That's where we are on the unlawful arrest at this stage. And that's the argument that will be led in Monday in court.
Hawks officer Wynand Olivier is expected to take the stand on Monday. Karen Moore, Johannesburg.
Almost 620 million rand belonging to a northwest community has been wasted. This emerged after the Bapoba Mogale community asked Public Protector Thuli Madonsela to investigate maladministration, improper conduct and abuse of money in 2013. Madonsela says the asset forfeiture unit will help reclaim some of the money.
Bapoba Mogale community members react to the Public Protector's preliminary findings. Only R500,000 is left in what is known as the community's D account. Mining companies had deposited almost 620 million rand into the account since 1994, but the Bapo saw very little of it.
The biggest amount of money went to the palace. We know that the original budget was for about 20 million. When we got the last report from our forensic investigators, Greenmont, by them, even though we had said they should stop spending, they had already spent 80 million.
Mining companies have been paying royalties to the community for resources extracted from its land.
There was money paid to administrators. A couple of millions were paid to the administrators. And then a lot of money was paid for catering and groceries. With the groceries, we'll still have to check, whose groceries were they use. A lot of money was paid to allowances to members of the council and members of the royal family.
Surprisingly, the Bapong's leader, Bob Edward Mogale, is insisting that those responsible must repay the money, but the Bapo want to see them arrested.
We wanted to also assist in the investigations because I was one of the subcontractors for the Royal Palace.
The Public Protector's Office is still investigating whether mining companies have been paying the community enough for its resources. The probe will cover the last 22 years, and only once it's completed will they know whether they've benefited sufficiently enough from the profits made from their land. Sikelelwa Mdingi, Brett.
The Electoral Court is expected to deliver judgment on the National Freedom Party's last-ditch attempt to contest next week's elections. The NFP was disqualified last month after it failed to pay the IEC deposit on time. In court, they alleged IFP-inspired sabotage as the motive for Treasurer Xolani Ndlovu not paying the IEC deposit timeously. They also argued that NFP voters would be disenfranchised by the party's exclusion. Essentially, the party wants the court to order the Independent Electoral Commission to exercise its discretion. It wants the IEC to amend the electoral timetable so the NFP can be added to the ballot. And one way to do this, it suggests, is to put NFP stickers at the bottom of the ballot paper. Well, with days running out ahead of next week's election, political parties are still trying to win the hearts of voters. Today, the ANC, DA and EFF are all campaigning in Soweto and surrounding areas.
It's crunch time and the municipal elections are almost upon us. Political parties are still hard at work trying to clinch votes. The Democratic Alliance headed for Dobsonville. Musi Maiman is home.
When the numbers are all tallied up at the end of the day, I think you'll see that many more are coming too. If you go to Nelson Mandela Bay, there's already profound growth for the DA. We stand the prospect of governing there. In Tshwane the same, in Joburg the same. They realize that the EFF is corrupt and could bring chaos to South Africa.
Despite bragging about a good track record and attacking its opponents, the DA has its own challenges to overcome. Some residents voiced their dissatisfaction to the economic freedom fighters.
Please set us free, get us out of these problems. We don't have water, we don't have electricity.
The ANC have failed us, they've done nothing for us. The DA as well.
The EFF is here, it will help where it can, and we are promising that we are not going to disappear.
With both parties launching scathing attacks on ANC President Jacob Zuma, it seems some die-hard supporters aren't swayed.
Highly ANC.
We come a long way with the ANC. We have houses today because of the ANC. Even if they said Zuma is squandering money, it's none of our business.
The ANC is still the one. We just need to look after the community. The ANC just needs to fix some of the damage done.
ANC President Jacob Zuma was in Thokoza Park. After a door-to-door campaign, he addressed supporters. While we haven't seen the last of campaigning, the time left to persuade voters is quickly running out. Bongiwe Khumalo, Soweto.
Businessman Kenny Kunene has caused a social media storm. That's after posting a picture of himself with his latest artwork purchase. The painting shows a nude DA leader, Musi Maimane, pulling a wagon carrying former party leader Helen Ziller and MP James Self in a crude manner. Some of Kunene's Twitter followers have congratulated him for buying the painting, while others felt he is taking freedom of expression too far. Please note that some viewers may find some of the following visuals disturbing.
Another South African painting is in the spotlight. This time, a nude DA leader, Musi Maimane, is portrayed as a lackey under the control of white leaders who are also naked. Businessman Kenny Kunene purchased the artwork for an undisclosed price.
It's in my bedroom now. Yesterday it was in my lounge. I got my keys to come and have a look at it.
The illustration comes a month after outrage over Ayanda Mabulu's painting of President Jacob Zuma in a compromising position with one of the Gupta brothers. This time, the man behind the brush says his art is not a political statement and that nudity is not unusual in the world of art.
For me, as an artist, it's not a naked. For that type of painting, it has a name. It's been there for years. That's what you call nude paintings.
Kunene says he bought the painting because he is an avid art collector and also owns portraits that show him naked.
If you go to my house, you'll find art about me, even nude art about me. Even with my roast, you know, the background was art, where I was Mona Lisa, where I was Queen Elizabeth, where I was Napoleon Bonaparte. I love art.
The DA says while the painting is distasteful, it doesn't warrant legal action.
We're not going to take any action. I mean, unlike the ANC, we protect the rights of artists, so we're not going to call for anyone's head. We're not going to march to anyone's offices or anything like that. We're going to leave this. We're going to continue campaigning on the ground to win votes on the 3rd of August.
But Kuneni says the party had earlier threatened to explore legal options.
And in world news, Hillary Clinton has made history as the first woman in the U.S. to accept a major party's presidential nomination. Addressing the Democratic National Convention, Clinton called for unity, saying the U.S. is at a moment of reckoning. She accused Donald Trump, her Republican opponent, of sowing discord and division. They go head-to-head in the November polls.
Time now to reintroduce Tulsie, who has all of his social media.
It is indeed. Thank you so much, Sandile. An EFF councillor candidate for Tshwane has been disqualified from contesting next week's polls. Now, that judgment was delivered a short while ago. In a social media post, Thabo Mabocha called for all white people to be hacked and killed. The Electoral Court has ordered Mabocha to retract this post. The Independent Electoral Commission's lawyer says he completely disregarded the dignity and rights of many. The EFF has distanced itself from Mabocha, saying it has no plans to defend him. We end with this. South Africa's first 24-hour online radio station will be launched next month. Touch Central is the brainchild of popular radio DJs Tibo Touch Molefe and Gareth Cliff. According to the pair, Touch Central will offer a music, lifestyle and talk platform not restricted by bureaucracy, but instead led by the listeners' views, demands and needs. If you've missed any of our stories, you can check us out on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct, or you can head on over to our website. That's eNCA.com/direct. After the break, your business news as well as your weekend weather forecast. Money matters. The price of petrol is expected to drop by 99 cents per litre next Wednesday. Diesel will decrease by 73 and 74 cents per litre. Illuminating paraffin will be 66 cents cheaper. The Department of Energy says the decrease is mainly due to the strengthening of the rand and cheaper oil prices. The price drop comes amid a strike in the petroleum sector. And with that, let's see how the markets performed today. Let's check in with the Weather Center. Here's Candice.
It's been a warm end to the work week over the extreme eastern part of South Africa, but with a cool day for the rest of the country. Tomorrow morning, we can expect some light morning rainfall along the southern Cape coastline, with drizzle over the interior part of the eastern Cape and rain as we head towards the coast. Mostly sunny and dry along the KwaZulu-Natal coastline, with a fine and dry day over the interior and warmer temperatures expected. We're expecting slightly cooler conditions for KwaZulu-Natal on Saturday, with highs in the upper teens and low 20s. Sunny over the interior, but with some cloud along the coast. Cold weather continues for the Eastern Cape with a partly cloudy and dry forecast over the northern parts. We're expecting some drizzle over the interior with rain as we head towards the coast. 16 degrees for Port Elizabeth and East London at 17. We stick with that daytime high for Plettenberg Bay and Mossel Bay, but with some early morning light rainfall. A warmer day is expected for the Western Cape, with most maximum temperatures starting to peak in the low 20s. Fine and dry for the Northern Cape, other than some cloud for Calvinia at 19 degrees. A warm afternoon for Uppington at 26. The temperatures still remain cold over the southern part of the province. A sunny Saturday is in store for the Free State, but with a chilly start to the day. Most of those minimum temperatures drop below zero overnight, with highs in the teens in the afternoon. Fine and mild for the northwest, Vryburg at 23 degrees, and we're expecting a sunny and warm day throughout Limpopo. 25 degrees for Zanin, Lepelale at 28, Polokwane at 23. A few degrees cooler but still warm for Bombela and Skokuza, both in the mid-20s. 21 for Emalahleni and Standerton. 22 degrees with a sunny forecast for Pretoria on Saturday. The rest of those highs will peak at around 20 in the afternoon, and Vereeniging drops 2 degrees below zero overnight. On Sunday, we're forecasting dry weather over the southern parts, with showers in the west and thunder showers over the central and eastern interior, eventually reaching the east coast on Sunday night. And on Monday, we're still expecting some rainfall over the eastern parts, with a dry and cool day over the interior. That's all from the Weather Centre for now. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Candice. After the break, a Pietermaritzburg pizzeria takes the mickey out of the serious business that is politics. Welcome back. It's not just politicians trying to get a piece of the election pie.
Yep, a pizzeria in Pietermaritzburg has found a humorous way to capitalize on the hype using what appears to be party posters.
If you think these are run-of-the-mill campaign posters, look again. Based on adverts from Cope, EFF and the DA, the Pizzology Eatery has added some of its own toppings.
Everyone takes elections quite seriously, particularly now with these local government elections, and we thought we'd just have a bit of fun. We like to do different kinds of advertising.
The unique advertising drive has seen orders streaming in. It's been a hit on social media, with many more locals laughing their way through the doors.
I really actually thought that they were advertising the campaigns until I realized they were for Pizzology, so I thought they were really clever.
Whoever thought of that they did a great job to make those posters.
The owners say their delivery may have burnt a few tongues, but they feel political parties have something to take away.
The posters look quite similar to their own, so if you're not looking carefully, it looks like extra advertising for the political parties. And it's good to have a sense of humor.
Call it cheesy, but it seems like Pizzology has found just the right ingredient to keep the ovens burning. Desan Thathia, Pietermaritzburg.
A reminder of the day's top stories before we say goodbye. The state claims that one of the Tulsie twins had planned to blow himself up in an Islamic State terror attack. Political parties hone in on Gauteng in a last-minute flurry to garner votes. And that's a wrap from the eNews Direct team.
Yep, if you missed any of our stories tonight, you can always catch us again on eNCA.com/eNewsDirect.
And our weekend news bulletin comes live from Cape Town at 7 p.m. Until Monday night, have a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.